ever heard the saying, living paycheck to paycheck? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me put it in perspective for you. I had $1.83 in my bank. I just swiped credit at the gas pump so I could get $10 for gas because I was on E, my friend. And hopefully in 2 business days, I get that $10 back in my account because my bank does not play, man. They charged me $40 in overdraft fees because I was overdrafted 7 pennies. I ain't even playing it. Banks do not mess around with their money, even if it's 7 pennies. So, all that to say, please hit all these buttons so I can get TikTok paid and get my $10. Love you, bye.
Wow. That is actually crazy. 7 cents and you get charged probably $30 extra. It sucks. It actually sucks, especially if you are living paycheck to paycheck. So, I had to figure out, how did we start getting charged overdrafts? And rabbit hole. So this is what I found out. Brief history lesson. So before the 1990s, overdrafts were kind of a relationship. So it was small communities, you have your community bank, you knew the manager. These are the times where you had to wear a suit to go to the bank. They will deny you entrance if you came with shorts because you even have money. So this is before the 1990s, right? And the relationship was like this. Say I have written a check, because at this time people were just writing checks. They didn't have pre 1990s. They didn't have many people didn't have debit cards and all that, right? So what they will do is, I'm writing a check. So say I write a check to a plumber. I'm paying the plumber, so I'm writing a check. Hey, here's $1,000 because this plumber did amazing work in my house, for example. $1,000, right? But in my bank account, I actually know that I have only $200. So what do? I reach out to the bank manager and I'm like, yo, you know me, how my money has always been on 15th and on 30th of every month. I always get money because I get a salary, and the salary is say 3K. So 15th I get 3K, $3,000, and 30th I get another $3,000. So I talk to the bank manager and I'm like, or one of the relationship managers, and I'm like, hey, so because this money is going to be coming, I've given out a check that will need to clear, and I only have $200 in my account. So front me the 800 so that this check clears, and then when my 3,000 comes in, what happens? Take your 800, leave my 2,200 from the paycheck, and life continues. And that's how they started. Amazing life. But then come the 1990s to 2000s. So at such and such a time, what happens? Debit cards are now in place and people are finding it easier because transactions can go faster and clearer, and you do not have to type, what's your name? Type it and write it and all that. It's easier. You don't have to walk with a book and all that. So what happens? The relationship is no longer needed for overdrafts to happen. So if a system has to be in place, things have to be automated and rules have to be followed by every person. So if I have a debit card here and somebody has a debit card in a different state or in a different province, if you're in Canada, it makes sense that the rules remain the same. And bank to bank also the rules remain the same, so that it is easier to know who is getting an overdraft and who is not getting an overdraft, right? So because of that, relationships just died. You no longer needed a relationship to get bank overdraft. So, but then, I have an extra tidbit. By 2010s, this is for the US, they were like, yo, this is too much. We're probably charging people too much. So let it be more of an opt-in scenario, especially for ATMs and one-time debit card overdraft fees. But then, so now we know the history, but let's get some definitions out here, right? An overdraft happens only when a bank pays a transaction despite insufficient funds. There's an overdraft, and also there's not sufficient funds. So for not sufficient funds, it's a scenario where the bank is like, yo, you don't have enough money. We're not going to deal with this. Just notify the merchant that you don't have enough money, and everything is simple. So the bank just refuses that. So this is how overdrafts kind of happen. So an example is this. So say you have $30, right? You just broke. You have $30 in your account, right? And you're feeling hungry, and you decide to go and you to treat your buddies, and you decide to go to some restaurant, right? And the bill comes to $50, right? So your account has 30 and we're doing minus 50, right? So you are at negative 20 by this point, right? So the bank can decide overdraft or let the transaction go through. So if they let the transaction go through, it means that you owe the bank, right? Remember how they used to do it? This time around, it's automated, you owe the bank. But for some banks, they will decide for this $20 until you pay, we're going to charge you an interest. It's like they loaned you some money. Then there is the other option where they're like, we're not accepting this charge. So when they're not accepting that charge, and what happens is the transaction doesn't go through. And here's the worst bit. This transaction that doesn't go through, the bank has to charge you though. So this is the reason. The merchant, when you pay, say you have $10 in your account, right? And you are going to buy a jacket, and the jacket is $50. What will happen with the jacket? It means that if the bank decides we're not going to let this transaction go through, the $50 can't be paid. But because you're buying from the merchant has to request for the amount, right? So when they request for the amount, this is how it moves. The merchant requests from an intermediary who requests the card company, and the card company connects to the bank and all that. All these people, it's a business. They have to make money. So each is supposed to get a cut. And also, merchants always don't make us pay these fees. It's always included in the price if you're running a business. Then it means that the amount, the $50, if you paid the $50, there's a few cents that go to Visa or MasterCard or American Express or whatever card provider you use. And then there's a charge that will also go to a small fee that will go to your bank account, to your bank, a small fee that will go to maybe the terminal provider, people who provided you the Square or the likes. So all these people have to get a small bit. So if the merchant tries the transaction, right, and you only have $10, right, and it doesn't go through, these people have to get their cut. So what happens? The merchant decides, bank, do this for me. This person, it didn't go through. The money that all these providers charge me, right, I need it back because I'm actually a business. So the arrangement with the bank is you find the bank having to charge you extra amount, right? So that some of this money can actually go to whoever was supposed to get their cut. So I only have $10, right? So I try to pay $50. It doesn't go through. What does the bank do? Charges me $30. Now, here's the worst bit. Say I had $10, right? Actually, let's make this better. I only have $5 in my account. No, even worse. I'm broke. Only have $1. I'm living on the edge. I only have $1. And then I try and go and get something that is $5, maybe some KFC Happy Meal or something like that, right? McDonald's Happy Meal. What happens is the $5 that is supposed to be charged, right, doesn't go through, right? So because it doesn't go through, and the bank needs to make me realize I'm not spending my money very well, and I'm not looking at the balance of my account, I end up being charged $30. $30 because the transaction didn't go through. So here's the worst bit. This can happen for transactions that are automated. If you went to buy food, right, and you knew they didn't have money in your account, you could avoid this. You could avoid the $30. But if you went if these are automated transactions, Netflix needs to charge you, your gym needs to charge you. All these people could actually, because they request at different times of the day, could actually make you rack up so much money than what they actually charge you. So your Netflix subscription, $15. They try and charge you only have $1 in your account. It doesn't go through. What will they do? They'll probably try 2 days later. But the bank, what will the bank do? They charge you 30. Some banks even charge you $45, by the way. So they charge you 30 because you couldn't pay 15, you're being charged 30. Then later on during that day, your gym comes up. It's automated, remember? So the gym is like, we need probably $22 or $25. The bank is like, we don't have the money, but we're going to charge you another 30. So now that is plus 30. 2 days later, say you didn't have the money again, because these charges, if they try and they don't have you don't have enough money, they'll try maybe a day or 2 days later. If there's no money still, it just racks up. You are just paying extra fees. So in the end, in a typical week, you could end up racking $180 of money you actually didn't spend. So how can we actually avoid this? We can avoid this in various ways. In various ways. Where am I not? So what you can do is actually turn low balance and negative balances alerts. So this is a scenario where how the average that you spend in a month, by the time you get to 500, you get an alert and your spidey senses are on, and all of a sudden you cannot overspend. Also, some banks do it really, really well. They've divided stuff. So you have check available balance and you have your current balance. So available is what you can actually use. The current balance, you could be having $500 as current balance, but available, $50. You can only use the $50 because the rest is planned for. Your account is yet to reconcile everything and all that. Some banks even do it better in that they know this is the amount of money that you normally spent within a month. That is, and this and the upcoming automated transactions. So you will see it, they will deduct it so that you know your available balance. Then some banks also offer, what is it called? Draft coverage. So talk to your bank so that they actually enable draft coverage, overdraft coverages, so that when such a thing happens, you pay an extra fee at the end of the month, but then you're not charged the 80, the 100. These charges don't rack up. Also, can ask about linked savings and transfers and their transfer fees, because you transferring money from account to account, sometimes it charged, especially if it's a savings account. When I got my first savings account, I would move money from my current account to my savings account maybe thrice a month, 4 times a month. So it was like, I don't know what was in my head, but I would move money from my current to my savings, current to my savings. At the end of the month, I'd get charged $50 because I was just transferring money. You always penalize for removing money from your savings account. So watch out for that. Watch out for that. Then also, please know the automated bills that are coming. So remember, you got the notification that you are. If you know the automated bills that are coming, you can prepare yourself better, right? So that it is easier, especially that and subscriptions. Because some of these guys, sometimes they do it so bad. Say you don't have the best employers, right? And they don't pay you on time, or they pay you and it's a holiday. So it does not reflect, but the subscription doesn't care it's a holiday. Holidays are different in each country. So what do? They try and charge and you get your overdraft. So remember holidays too. Holidays actually do matter, right? And then last thing, it's hard times out here, but try and keep a small buffer, that can help you, not get into such a scenario. So basically, I went and learned a little bit about overdrafts, the history, and how it works. So this is what I learned today. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next one. I don't know what I'll be learning, but when I watch a video online, I'll try and figure out what is the system behind it. Cheers, and subscribe.